All right, so moving on to the final segment, I'll be sharing my top 5 college football players in college football history to never win a Heisman Trophy award. So I'll be ranking the top 5 players to never win a Heisman Trophy award, ranking them from number 5 all the way down to number 1. So starting at number 5, I have Andrew Luck for all his years that he spent at college football with Stanford University. Now, Andrew Luck played a total of three seasons for Stanford. He played there from 2008 all the way to 2011 and became a generational talent at the quarterback position. Now, Andrew Luck was phenomenal at Stanford. His college stats, he had a total of 9,430 passing yards. He had 82 passing touchdowns. He had a completion percentage of 67% completion percentage. And he had a QBR of 162.8. The man was so good at Stanford, he called his own damn play calls and his final season with Stanford. That's how good he was, and he went to become the first overall pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, with being drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. He's number 5 on my list. At number 4, I have Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence and his years spent with Clemson University. Trevor Lawrence went undefeated in his freshman season at Clemson and went on to win a national championship in his freshman season. He went 34-2 as a starter in college football. He had a total of 10,098 passing yards. He had 90 passing touchdowns. He had 67% completion percentage and had a QBR of 164.3 quarterback rating. That's phenomenal. And Trevor Lawrence who can ever forget his freshman year in the national championship game when Trevor Lawrence went head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Tua Tagovailoa and Alabama Crimson Tide in the 2018 national championship game. He outplayed Tua Tagovailoa and dominated Alabama, helping Clemson win that game 44-16 in the national championship game back in 2018. Trevor Lawrence is number 4 on my list. Number 3, I have Ndamukong Suh and his years spent with Nebraska University. Now, Ndamukong Suh, man, I played the tape this week watching his highlights at the defensive tackle position with Nebraska. This man was an absolute beast as a defensive tackle in his years with Nebraska. He had a total of 215 tackles, 49 tackles for loss, 24 sacks, 4 interceptions as a defensive tackle. You have to be athletic. You have to be physically gifted to do the things that Ndamukong Suh did at the defensive tackle position at Nebraska to have this stat line and his years spent at Nebraska. And Ndamukong Suh, his dominant play at Nebraska helped him become the 2nd overall pick in the 2010 NFL Draft with the Detroit Lions. In his prime years in the NFL, he was an absolute wrecking ball, someone that offensive linemen did not want to see. He was a freak of nature on that defensive line when he wasn't stepping on players and purposely injuring him. Ndamukong Suh was an absolute nightmare on that defensive line. He's number 3 on my list. And number 2, I have Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning's years that he spent at Tennessee University. Hands down, Peyton Manning is the best quarterback to ever play at Tennessee University. And Peyton Manning is the reason why quarterbacks are easily handed the nickname or given the nickname generational talent because of what he did at the quarterback position at Tennessee years and years ago. That man was phenomenal at Tennessee. And what he did in the late 90s was phenomenal. If you ever want to see if you ever want to build a quarterback from the ground up, watch Peyton Manning in his years at Tennessee. The rest is history for his phenomenal NFL career. But Peyton Manning went on to win 39 of 45 games that he started at Tennessee. He played well enough to win a national championship in his time spent with Tennessee, but they were unsuccessful at beating the top teams in the SEC conference. And Tennessee wasn't able to defeat those teams, and it really hurt his reasoning of the reason why he never won Heisman. I think he should have won it, but things like that prevented it. Peyton Manning was phenomenal. He's number 2 on my list. But at number 1, I have Vince Young and his years spent with Texas University. Vince Young was an absolute college legend. Vince Young went 30-2 as a college football starter with Texas University. He truly set the standard for what a dual threat quarterback is supposed to do in the 21st century in the NFL today. What he did in college for Texas University was phenomenal. And he was a true dual threat at the quarterback position. In his final season with Texas, he went on to throw a total of 3,036 passing yards. He had over 1,000 yards rushing and had a total of 38 touchdowns. And his performance, who can ever forget his performance again that he had in a national championship game against USC? Hands down one of the greatest college football performances in college football history. And he went on to defeat USC that was on a 34-game winning streak that had Pete Carroll at the coaching position. They had the Heisman and Reggie Bush. Man, if you guys ever want to see one of the best college football performances in college football history, that game that Vince Young had, I believe he had a total of 3 to 4 rushing touchdowns in that national championship game against USC. Phenomenal. Hands down one of the best performances in college football history. But those are my top 5 players to never win a Heisman Trophy award in college football history. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.